Hello, beautiful souls. Hello, hello, and welcome again to Self Love Talks. How are you all doing today? Let's just see who's going to arrive. Hope you're having an amazing day and feeling good. And today, hello, lovelies. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. So, today is a healing day. Going to be talking about healing your soul, healing all souls, and healing separation between us and within our own selves, actually, which from my perspective is where it all begins. So it's going to be really gentle self-love talks today, and deep and touchy-feely and beautiful, and I'm in quite a deep, soft, meditative state myself today. And I really feel like just coming together with all of us, sharing some time together, and being in that awareness, that state of healing, and coming back to the love that we are, and how to do that. So I'm going to talk about that, but I also really want to involve all of you. Like, we're all, I keep saying this a lot, we're all in this together. And I mean life. We're all in life together, obviously. And all of our souls are all connected. Together we make up the soul of the world and the soul of humanity. And it's so important that every little drop in the ocean of this collective soul union, this soul of the world, is healed, is restored, is whole, is complete, is in harmony, and is happy and healthy and thriving. And really all we can do, not all we can do, but definitely the best thing that we can do, is to focus on our own drop, on our own little drop in the ocean, and bring ourselves into that crystal clear clarity, crystal clear awareness, beautiful energy, beautiful vibration. And then of course we have an impact on those around us. And healer, or you want to do some healing today, or you want to learn about healing, you want to learn more about your soul, or any of these things, please pull up a chair, get comfy, come join me for the next 20 minutes, half an hour. I don't know how long it's going to be. We're just going to go with the flow and see where it leads us today, okay? And I do have some things that will help. I've been working with souls for a really long time. Some would say lifetimes. My experience is that I've been working with souls, helping souls heal, helping souls through initiations of our evolution, of awakening, of embodying who we are many, 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 many times over. And if I can just talk about this lifetime for now, definitely this lifetime I've also done the same thing. I'm a soul reader, for those of you that don't know, which means I read souls, literally read the energy, read the library of all the experiences that your body has been through, that your consciousness has been through, whatever you believe that to be. And it's a vast, beautiful, amazing library. And like I said, each soul of you, of me, is a drop in the ocean of all souls. So your library, your records, your own records of what you've been through, what you've incarnated through, what you've lived through, what you've experienced, everything, like a little sponge, soaking it all in. You carry that story, that epic story, or stories within stories, and your story is one of the books in the library of the universe. So I've spent quite a lot of time reading those records of individual souls, and also tapping into the bigger library of information through my own connection and through my connections with others. And so I just want to share what I've learned from that, really. I definitely don't feel like I know everything. There is way too much to know, and think that you see and understand, the less you realize you do. That's how I feel. So it's very humbling. It's very, very humbling. But it's also very insightful and very beautiful. So I just want to share a little bit about that with you, and then how to go about healing that. So I was also very blessed in my exploration of my soul and soul reading and what that entailed. I was also able to receive guidance and receive teachings for a couple of years from spirit, from angels, and specifically those who believe in angels and who can accept this. Archangel Michael, he was force, incredible teacher in my life. And together we kind of co-created this method. You probably heard me talking about it before if you've been on these talks with me before, and I've called it the I Love You Me method. So I'm going to share that with you today for healing your soul and for healing the souls of others, because I know, like, more than ever right now, the awareness is being heightened, and we're perhaps feeling the loss of connection with other souls, physically or even emotionally or mentally or in our communication. But we might also be feeling this enormous union that sometimes in the absence of a person, and we tap into the more subtler levels and the subtler energies, I feel like all of us together collectively are becoming more and more aware of the bigger body of humanity. The world has become a very small place suddenly. You know, it's like we're all aware that we're all in this place, right? So perhaps that feeling of something else is happening on a collective level. Something else is becoming more strong, more potent, more connected on the soul, on the collective soul level. I wonder if that's what you're feeling, because that's certainly what I'm feeling. So I want to discuss this a little bit with you. And also I'm going to share with you basically, we're in April right now, and all month I've just had this feeling of I've got tons of courses online, various different levels of courses from beginner all the way through to advanced and practitioner trainings in the I Love You Me method. I've got a book and I've tons of stuff, tons of content, and my message has been it's been so clear in my heart just to make it available to everybody, whoever wants it. But I just want to be clear, okay? This is a disclaimer. So before I get into the soul healing part, just so that you're aware, when I say I'm offering my practitioner training, now that takes a big chunk of my time. It's a whole year's training, and I put in a lot of effort, love, and commitment into that space, into the people that I'm working with. So just to be clear, that doesn't get given to everybody. That's an application process, and I will choose who I want to work with, because one person very mistakenly thought I meant that I was just giving everything away and that she had an entitlement to that course, and she didn't pass the application process. And I had to say to her, I'm sorry, you're not the right person for me to work with. I don't think we're a good match. And she got really upset and started saying that I was a scammer and, you know, and I wasn't being honest. And I just want to put the record straight. I choose who I want to work with. But the other stuff where it doesn't involve me and my time and my energy, and it's already created and you can just download it, you can have it, I'm giving that away to also people who will use it. I've spent years and years and years and years crafting this art, crafting this I Love You Me method. And I just want to tell you right now, it still blows my mind. It is miraculous. And many people that use it say that word. They say it's miraculous. It just heals everything. Okay, I'm really going to get into this with you today. If you use it, it will have that effect for you. Okay. So I want to be surrounded. I love being surrounded by people that are choosing love, that are choosing this healing, that are choosing to end separation consciousness, that are choosing unity and union, and are choosing to love and heal themselves and others. So if that's you, then you can get in touch with me. The best way to do that is to email me, go to my website basically, and you can all check it out. And I'll come back and talk about this as well at the end. But I just want to take a moment to say, hi guys, thank you for joining me. You're up for doing some healing. How are you doing, by the way? Please make some comments. Please say hi. Let me know how you're going. And also, when I'm, sharing what I'm going to share with you today, you have comments about that, you feel something similar or you feel something different and you want to share your perspective, or even if it feels like completely contradictory to what I'm sharing, please share. Please say how you feel, what's happening for you. because we all have a very unique and very special perspective, and it's really important, I think, for all of us to, I want to say this is a space of inclusivity, and I'm not going to, have a go at anybody or belittle anybody for their opinion. That's just not what I do. I know some people like doing that on social media. It's not my thing. I think it's a waste of time. This is about healing, and loving and accepting our differences. We're not that different at the end of the day. So, Donna Bailey, hello lovely, you're saying yes, let's all very old souls. Yes, indeed we are. Who feels that for a start? Like if you feel like you're a really old soul and you've been around the block so many times, please, make your comments, say how you feel. And actually, I just want to be really real. This is where I'm at today. I was going to do this yesterday. As you know, Thursdays is usually my self-love talks day. And actually, I just started feeling so weird and tired yesterday, and I didn't want to be seen. I didn't feel like I was in a good place for sharing. And in fact, I ended up, resting and doing more healing on myself. It just was a weird thing. It just came out of the blue, and I was like, I can't do this today. So that's why I'm doing it today. And even today, I feel quite delicate, to be honest. I don't really feel like, being super visible. I'm quite an introvert anyway. I like to hide away. But the thing is, so, in my mind, I'm kind of going, I feel quite sensitive. I feel almost a little bit nauseous as well. I've been feeling a bit nauseous for a few days. So I'm doing a cleanse today. I'm just drinking and not eating. But I feel like this is really important, and I really wanted us to share this time together and sit and do some healing together. So has anybody else been feeling like that, by the way? Anybody else been having a weird few days? And Rachel, you're saying, hi, I'm rubbish. I hope you mean you just feel rubbish because you're not actual rubbish. And Donna again saying that that's so generous and kind and loving, and she's personally just began implementing the I Love You method. You have indeed. And it's brilliant. So, souls. Healing our soul. Healing other souls. Healing the soul of the world. What does that mean? Now, if you've just joined me, then I've already shared what I consider a soul to be and what that looks like and feels like, and what, I feel like I've got something to share on this, okay? But essentially, our soul is not something we generally spend time with. I guess a lot of us, when we think about it, are aware that we have one. We might not be super clear what a soul is. But what I do know is that it's a common feeling for people to feel like they're somehow tired in their soul. Especially if you feel like you're one of these old souls and you've been around the block loads and loads of times, and you're kind of like, you love life, maybe you just really love yourself, maybe you love other people around you, hopefully you do, and you love life and you love the planet and you love everything. But perhaps you're also at the same time feeling weary and a bit like, how much longer? And perhaps you're also feeling like that you carry a burden. A lot of people feel like this, as if you're carrying a big heavy rucksack or dragging a big sack on your shoulders from time, just simply time. And other people's energies, memories, thoughts, feelings, history is on your back. Does any of you feel like that? You might not think about it daily, but you might actually come to recognize that the way that we people tend to move through our lives a lot of the time is trudging, dragging the weight, trying to go forward, trying to build up that momentum and the motivation, like, come on. And we often have a mental carrot that we dangle in front of us, like, oh, we're going to get to the light at the end of the tunnel soon, or someday everything's going to be magically better, or someday the heroes will come down from the other planets, or the angels will descend and then everything's going to get put right, or which also may happen. I'm not saying that's not going to happen, but it's like that feeling of nearly getting to the finish line. And anybody recognize that and just feel tired in your soul? Yeah. definitely. So, and also there can also be simultaneously this feeling of something new is coming. And I bet a lot of you are feeling that right now. Something new is coming. You can feel with the tiredness, with the exhaustion, there's also this feeling of something new. There's an excitement. We don't know what it is. Maybe you have some ideas, maybe you have some insights or feelings, but it's like there is a new world happening. I used to call it this workshop New Birth, New Earth, because I've had a sense for a very long time, I talked about it last week, of that the next level of evolution, birthing, and I talked about us having a birthing experience. Well, on a soul level, we are. Perhaps there's a new element, a new journey that our soul is beginning, a completion of all the lifetimes so far, right? If you can imagine just tying up all the loose ends from all of your lifetimes so far, nice beautiful bow, nice and complete, the cycle is complete. And yet we also begin something new, right? So simultaneously these things are happening. It's as if a death and a birth sit in the same space. Is also really happening, and I know this is like freaking people out right now, is this incredible sense of separation. And I also want to talk about, okay, in order for us to wrap up our soul experiences, or even our lifetime, just your life right now, and going, right, I'm gonna, a new life is going to happen, new stuff is going to happen. How to wrap up what we've experienced so far, take it on whichever level works for you. But I also want to talk about that pain. I want to bring in this thing that a lot of people have avoided, myself included. Humanity as a whole has avoided and swept under the rug the immense, incredible, vast amount of suffering that has happened on this planet and is still happening on this planet. And I even want to talk specifically about the abuse, mental, physical, emotional, sexual. I want to talk about the torture, the rape, the killing, the sacrifices, the human sacrifices, animal sacrifices that have been made on this planet for a very, very, very long time and are still happening to this day. Some of you might have been watching videos or seeing things coming up in the news about what's being revealed in Hollywood right now. That's pretty scary. You might be seeing, maybe you've known for a long time, and it's not just Hollywood. It's the, right now it's called the deep state. But it's not even isolated to that. There's that sense of separation, those bad guys and us good guys. And I want to share with you that on a soul level, personal and collective, that separation doesn't work. It doesn't heal anything. We cannot heal if we continue to put separation in place. Now, also, if we look into our own lives, how many of you have experienced or still experience abuse? Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, sexual. I mean, I'm not going to get too deep into my own story here, but I know what that's like. I've been through it in this lifetime, more than once. I've experienced that bad stuff, and virtually every woman I know, every friend I have, has also experienced some form of sexual abuse. And I wonder how many of us have experienced that. How many of you? How often does it get talked about? I have a lot of clients or people that come to my workshops, and they're so brave, and after a lifetime of keeping it hidden, they've come out and shared what's actually happened to them. And it really hits everybody on a deep level, because it's not something we tend to bring out onto the surface. And thank goodness it is coming out more onto the surface right now, because until it does, we cannot heal. You can't heal a wound when the poison is still kept in underneath, and try to close up the skin and put nice new skin on and pretend nothing's wrong, when inside there's a whole heap of bad stuff still there. It can't, time does not heal this. We know that from our own selves. Like if you've experienced abuse or trauma or rape or any of these things as a child, you know that time doesn't make it go away. It just puts it in deeper. And I also know how incredibly maddening it is, and this is where a lot of our mental torture comes from within ourselves and what we also inflict on others, is because when our suffering has been ignored and denied, even people's families will say to their small child, that didn't happen, you're imagining, nobody hurt you, it didn't happen, don't say anything, keep it quiet. And people's own parents do that, or relatives, or siblings, because it's better to pretend that everything's okay and it's not happening. And I just want us to be honest and real with each other right now. How many of us can actually say, I've actually been in that position of wanting to pretend that it's all okay and nothing is happening, on whatever level of trauma or abuse that you have suffered and that you've been aware of happening around you, and that you've been aware of happening in the world around us, around all of us. We all know it's been going on, and we haven't wanted to look at it. I think all of us can put our hands up at that point and go, yeah, actually I've done that. I've done that. We can only handle so much, it feels. We want to look at the light, we want to look at the good stuff, we want to look at the positive and not focus on the negative, because some idiot somewhere told us that if we ignore the negative and just look at the positive, everything will be all right, and it isn't. And it's not about getting stuck in the negative either, and immersing in it and getting lost and, falling into that hellhole and staying there. No, but there is a way where we have to, bridge, if you like, that negative hellhole, that painful, trauma, abusive, horrific stuff, the rape, the murder, sacrificing, whatever's been going on, and the light, the love, the positivity, the new world, the new earth, the next lifetime, the healing. And we know that we can't get the new until we've actually come to terms with and made peace with the past. We can't escape it. We can't escape the past. You can't escape history. None of us can. We're all on this amazing, beautiful planet, spinning and turning and spinning and turning, and the planet has her history. Humanity has a really long, epic history, and it's filled with dark times. It's filled with wars. It's filled with fighting and murder and slaughter and ignorance and suffering and people being horrific to one another. I'm not saying that's all that's happened. Far from it. There is the light and the beauty and the amazing advanced civilizations and things that have existed and do exist, and the incredible magic on this planet. But there is also the other stuff, and that's what I'm saying. It's like not to go, okay, well, let's forget history, bury history, maybe look at it from a nice safe distance in our history books and examine it, but let's not feel it, let's not go there, let's not realize that history is still embedded in every single fiber of our being, from our Akashic record soul library to our DNA and our cellular memory. We are living history. It's in our DNA, what's happened. It's in our cellular memory. It's in our ancestral records. It's in our cultural identity. It's like we grew out of the earth where these people died, where this suffering was buried. We grew from that, literally, in our physicality, and we carry all those memories in our soul, in our energy field. It's written everywhere. History is everywhere in front of us right now. We can't escape it. Does that make sense? And for all of us who are wanting a new start, new life, new love, new relationships, new families, new soul journey, everything, it's like we have to tie these loose ends up and bring the two together in ourselves first, and then in the rest of the world, those around us. And how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that when history has been so, what's the word? Irreconcilable. Irreconcilable? Is that a word? Does that make sense? Yeah, it doesn't get spoken about enough. It doesn't. I'm just reading your comments. Thank you for sharing. And now it is being spoken about. And even now, we'll see it on our social media. Some people are really sharing what's going on in the world, and they're going, oh my goodness, did you know about this? Look what's coming out. Look what's being suppressed and hidden from the news, mainstream news, but what's also, the information is still coming out. And there are still so many people who are going, I don't want to see that. And a lot more people saying, it's not real, it didn't happen, it's not happening. That's not the kind of world we live in. And I would just invite all of us to check in and go, really? Really? You think that, human trafficking, the selling of people hasn't been going on for a really, 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 really long time? Who built the pyramids, apparently, right? It was slaves. Who's built almost every city in a big city in the world? It's slave labor. What's that if it's not owning of people, selling and buying and selling of people? As well as the sex trafficking, that's been going on for a really, really, really long time. Why would anybody think it's not happening now? Of course it's happening now. And it's only still happening now because we never dealt with it in the past. We just kept covering it over and saying, ignoring it, right? And as long as we keep ignoring something that's happening, and everything that happens behind closed doors in our own families, in our own homes, and in our own, abuse that we've put ourselves through or been through with other people, it all stays behind closed doors. And it really is time, and we're going to see it coming out more and more to the point where we can no longer deny it. We can no longer hide from the truth that there has been horrific things happening for a really long time, and it's coming out and we need to see it. So how do we do that? How do we face the unfaceable? How do we see the horror, the ugliness, and not just be able to bear it because we got a strong stomach or we're made of sturdy stuff and try our best to not feel? But how do we actually heal this? How do we heal the depths of this history in our own being, in our own soul? Really amazing thing just to notice and feel right now in yourself. Is that something that would be of value to you? Is it worth doing? Is there any other option at the end of the day? What choice do we have? It gets to the point where we bury things and hide things so much that actually it's like the lump under the rug just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's only so long you can deny that there's a great big dirty mountain of stuff, undealt with stuff, swept under that rug because you're banging into it every which way. You're tripping over it, walking into the same walls again and again. You got the same stuff in your face every day. It's like, wake up, we have to wake up. And hard as it is to recognize this awful stuff, there is a way that it can be actually really a relief just to pull the rug off and go, oh, okay, I'm not going to hide from it anymore. And this can be, take this as a personal thing within yourself, like what have you hidden under the rug in yourself, in your own emotional storage boxes, in your own mental storage boxes. And what would happen if you just pull the rug off, you open the lids up and go, okay, maybe this point right now, this point in history that we're in right now, maybe this is where history ends. Known so far as history comes into resolution. And history is not repeat, because history is a repeat, basically is a repeat and a repeat and a repeat and a repeat of the same stuff that hasn't yet found resolution, hasn't yet found peace, hasn't evolved into something completely different. So how do we resolve the history? What would it be like for you if you did? Just ask yourself that question. Have you had enough of running away from it? Because sooner or later it's going to be so in everybody's faces. The Me Too movement started a little while back, started bringing out, sexual abuse more into the foreground, and there's a lot of hypocrisy and irony that goes on with that story about the people that brought that out to the surface, and There's a lot of lies still going on about that, but at least, you know, it's coming out. And what about if you told your own story and you listened? What about if everyone's so up to here with the stories? What if we're all so up to here with that suffering and trauma that actually we're maybe not going to get the whole world to listen to us and heal us and help us and fix us, because everybody's in it at the same time with us? And maybe you are the one, you are the healer that your soul needs, because you're the only one, since you did that journey to get where you are now, you're the only one that can go back in, that knows the journey that you've been on, who's capable of empathizing and understanding to the deepest levels of what you've been through more than any other person is capable of. Only you know your pain the way that you know it. And I really invite you as well to validate that you do know. Sometimes, you know, people, and I've been, you know, people come to me often to help validate them, because they go, you know, am I mad or did this actually happen? And they've convinced themselves they're just mad and it didn't happen because that's what everyone else has told them. But actually, when we go in and look at it and feel it, it's absolutely undeniable. No, you're right. The way that you feel it, the way that you think, what you sense to be true is true. No matter what story you've told your head to cope with it, right? That's your protection mechanism until you're ready to deal with it. But when we take the head off, it really does take it off like a lid, put it to one side. We love our heads, we don't want to get rid of it, but it's about actually going in and feeling what's really true. When we're really honest, when we take off the blinkers, when we take off our blindfolds, when we open that lid and pull back the rugs, what's really true? What actually happened? What do we feel? What's our truth? And maybe you don't need anybody else to justify it for you or validate it for you. And if you've been trying to do that and waiting to get healed and you haven't yet, I think that's a sign that, you know, you could be waiting a really bloody long time and we haven't got time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste another minute waiting for somebody else to do that for you when you can do it yourself, like this, right now. And you can validate what happened to you because you know. And you can listen to your own truth. You can feel your feelings. You can remember your memories. You can see things that were stuffed down into that box inside. And I can tell you right now, it's not all going to be big pain and suffering and you get stuck in it. It's like you have to go through it to come through it. Like you can't come through the other side unless you've actually gone through it. You can't just go over it or under it. You have to go through it. And actually just to be able to have that relief of you're not hiding from it anymore. You acknowledge and validate yourself as it's true. You were right. You are right. You've always been right, my friends. You've always been right. And even if it's something that you can't to you, but you've got a sense of things going on in the world, or you got a sense of things happening to people that you love close by you, and you were told that you were wrong and that didn't happen, just like we've been told for a long time, that's not happening in the world. You're mad. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're crazy. No, it's actually happening. Validate yourself that you know. We're all very, very highly sensitive beings. We all are. Some people have numbed out of their sensitivity. Some people have built walls and barriers against it because it feels too vulnerable or feels too overwhelming. They don't know what to do with it. But we are all equally as sensitive, and we can all return to that sensitivity, and life can start making sense again, and we can bring these pieces back together that have been distant and separated. Okay, so acknowledging yourself and breathing in to the feelings to go, yep, it's still here, it didn't die. Time didn't make this go away, it's actually still here. Bring it back to life. Breathe, use your breath. And when something has been validated enough and reclaimed, if you like, and gone, okay, yes, this is true, this happened, I feel this, this is genuine, this is my truth, this is how I feel. This has been my journey, this has been my story. Might be a story of your inner child, might be a story that's still happening to you now, might be the story of your soul that you've been carrying for lifetimes, but you can hold your story. You can hold you that's been through all of that. And you can also, with your compassion, with your empathy, with not just witnessing, I'm talking like beyond having a nice, safe distance witnessing. I'm talking about getting right in there and being in it, feeling it, breathing it, acknowledging, validating. And then when you really acknowledge and validate something, all of that pain, somehow it's not so painful anymore. Somehow there's a great sense of opening happens. No more walls, no more barriers to protect you. You can just let them down. And you start to get a bit more energized because you're not putting your energy into blocking and denying. You're putting energy into owning, receiving, coming back to what's real. It's actually very energizing. It actually makes you feel better, even though it might be traumatic and you've got tears and you've got snot and you've got the whatever happening. That's your body releasing it, releasing the trauma, releasing the emotion, and that in itself is the most incredible, sublime release. Just like when there's a pressure built up in the air and it's going on for days and days and days, and then suddenly the rain comes and the pressure breaks, and it's like, oh, thank God, that you can feel the air pressure change, and it's like, oh, thank goodness, the relief. So that's what it needs to be for us. We need to give ourselves that relief first and foremost. And that's not finished. It carries on. Is this helpful, by the way? Are you following me here? You guys are saying yes, it makes sense. Yes, the light's being shone over all the destruction. These people seem good and are working to stop trafficking. Yes, there's a lot of beautiful, good people out there doing that. But we're also good people. And what we can do for ourselves and our own soul right now, today, here, is also going to help. All right? Remember what I said about being a drop in the ocean. All of us are drops in the ocean. And when all of us little drops clean up our own personal unique drop, our own personal unique energy, vibration, soul, the overall impact has a massive effect. Never underestimate the power of the healing that you can do for the world. And in a minute, when we're finished with this part, I'm going to share with you how you can do that for the bad guys, the ones that you deem evil, and the ones that are doing these, the perpetrators, right? How to close the gap of separation between the victim and the perpetrator. Okay, so where was I? So acknowledging, validating, and then you get a sense of and because you've let go of holding on to it so tightly or avoiding it, something else is now possible. You have another choice of what now? You want to stop here, or do you want to really purge this and cleanse this from you? Do you want to transform all this energy that's been stuck and held in pain and suffering? Because now you've just opened the lid and it's come out and it's all sitting there like, oh, it's being aired, feels much better. Now what? Now it can transform or even transcend. It has that lightening feeling. And the most incredible and beautiful way to do this is not just say, well, I'm just going to let it go and then I'm going to forget about it. Right, I'm done. Because that's just like dropping litter and saying, I'm just going to let that go and let it go over there. And no, that's not a proper let go. That's not a proper transformation. Okay, transformation requires your continued participation and consciousness, not to just chuck it away, leave it for somebody else to trip over. Okay. Transformation, the most beautiful way to transform a stuck, painful energy into something which then can be lovable and divine and clear and clean, is forgiveness. Okay, and we don't need anybody else to forgive us. And forgiveness isn't a bad Nothing. It doesn't mean you're wrong, you're evil, you're bad, nothing. It just means I am now willing to release and transform and transcend this pain that I've been holding on to. I'm willing to stop suffering, is what it means. And we can only get to that point. And this is why a lot of forgiveness work, people say, I've done my forgiveness work. It doesn't work often because we haven't done the acknowledging part first. You can't release something if it hasn't first been seen and understood and owned and acknowledged. That part needs to happen first, thoroughly. If there's any little bit left out that's not been seen, it's going to hide, you know, like in the bottom of the box somewhere. And you'll be like, well, I thought I released that. I thought I healed that. I thought I forgave that. No, you didn't. There was still a part sitting in the bottom of the box that you've got to scoop it all up and go, right, let me acknowledge everything. Everything needs proper attention before it's ready to transform into something else. It needs your attention. Why? Why does it need your attention? Because it's about your conscious evolution. You are the one that needs to be conscious of it thoroughly, that you get it, the light bulb comes on, the awakening happens inside of you as you go, I understand that, I feel it. And you continue with that journey and saying, okay, now I actually am a being of free will, I'm a being of choice, I choose to release this. I choose to transform this pain and suffering. And then what do you want to transform it into? Pain or love? And everybody has a different version of what they think love is. Thank you for the hearts. Everyone has exactly love, love, love. Press the heart button. Love, love, love. I choose love. Everybody has a different version of like the human love, the man-made love, the conditional love that maybe we've been brought up with, or that we've been taught, or that we even still practice on ourselves and on other people around us. This conditional version of love. Love means whatever it means, your personal formula. And let's just say, okay, wipe the slate with that one. We're not talking about a love formula. We're not talking about the conditional version. We're talking about the love that is, that was, that will be forever and always. We're talking about that harmonious vibration of the universe where it just hums in total bliss. That just isness. I mean, sometimes bliss is so sublime, it's so fine. It's not like, yay, you know, it's not like fireworks are going off. It's just this peace. Some people might call it grace. Maybe you have a different name for it. The word that I use is love. It's that very, very present, awakened state of all-encompassing acceptance, all-knowing, expanded consciousness. And so if you would rather have that over keeping your suffering and pain, you can release and ask for forgiveness from yourself, from your source, from your soul. Please forgive me. Please let go of this me. These are magic words, okay? They're very, very powerful. And what are we choosing? We're choosing love. That's the truth. Behind everything is love. When we're experiencing something like what I was talking about, the history of the darkness, the trauma, the suffering, the murder, the ignorance, that everything that's so uncomfortable and hard to deal with, it's simply dark and painful because we haven't opened it and looked at it and released it out of the box and loved it. We haven't brought it to light. It's unloved information, it's unloved experiences, it's unloved aspects of the human being. You know, people talk about the devil or Satan. That's really popular at the moment, as we're starting to like see that there's, you know, there's a lot of people that worship God, apparently the good guy up there, and there's a lot of people that don't worship the God, they worship the other guy. All right. And again, it's the same sense of separation. One is positive and one is negative. Shall meet. Kept in suspended animation, if you like. They are both entities of the imagination that are kept intact as those entities of imagination because they're kept separate. You bring love to the devil, the darkness. It's not dark anymore. You bring love to what we think is evil. It's not evil anymore. You've just loved it. But it's hard for people to get their head around that because often people come to love from their mind and go, well, it doesn't make any sense. How can you love something that's evil? You know, because of our conditioning. Well, that's conditional love. And we're not talking about conditional love. We're talking about the love that is all things and actually there is no separation. And love doesn't say, well, I'm only going to love God and I'm not going to love the devil. The love doesn't say I'm only going to love the daytime and not the nighttime. Or I'm only going to love this good person and not the bad person. Love exists as all of us. That's the dimension that we're in. That's the time frame that we're in. That's the reason we're here. Right? So if you're getting stuck in your head going, how can I love the evil? How can I love the bad guy? I tell you what, it's really simple, you know, because do you remember, I mean, more and more people now are starting to like Trump, Donald Trump, bless him. And, you know, in the beginning, there was a lot of people, especially in my circles, you know, and people were conscious spiritual people and people were like, you know, oh, Donald Trump, oh, how bad is he? Like, he was the bad guy. He was the asshole. Nobody liked him. There was a lot of hate projected towards him. And I was just like, you know, whatever he's doing, and I don't know him, I don't know what he's doing, I never listened to any of his talks, I had no idea, but I was like, whatever he's doing, he's getting a lot of hatred right now, and he must be some kind of powerful awakener to take that much hatred from so many people and have this effect of help. Right? So we have hated the bad guy and we feel justified. He's bad, you know. And you can fill in the blank. If it's not Donald Trump for you and it's somebody else, fill in the blank. Who's the bad guy? Who have you hated on? Who have you blamed for the state of the world and for the state of your own life? You know, and for the state of the country and for the state, you know, who have you blamed? Who's your bad guy? And actually what you see is like, actually things aren't what they seem them to be. More and more people are starting to realize now, maybe there's more to Donald Trump than I gave him credit for. Maybe he is a bringer of awakening. Maybe he does bring the light, you know, and maybe we just got to stop bloody well judging who's doing what and know that that's our own darkness that we're projecting onto somebody else. And if we do project darkness onto somebody else, then of course they're going to look dark. Right? I might have gone a step too far here for you guys, but like, if you have this entity that's called God and we go, well, God is good and God is light, and yeah, we project that image and we keep that image alive. We keep that false identity alive. Okay? And we also have on the opposite end of the same spectrum, the darkness, the devil, the bad guy. And we go, well, we're going to hate this. We're not going to love that one. We're only going to love this nice one. We're not going to love that one. That one's bad and dark and evil and ugly and ugh. Of course it's going to stay. Through our eyes, it's going to stay dark and evil and bad and ugly, and everything that entity does is going to seem like it's just more evil, creating more evil. And it actually gains more power. It will gain power by our projection. And we keep them in power by keeping them separate. Now, how to disempower anything that's dark and evil, apparently, that seems dark and evil, is just to take these steps that I'm telling you right now. Like, it's really hard for someone to go from hate to love overnight and instantly. But they are actually two sides of the same coin, are they not, right? In a dualistic perspective, I'm talking about in a human perspective. On a divine level, everything is love. Everything, everything, everything. Doesn't matter what end of the spectrum it's on, it's still love. And if we can come back to that that's in our nature, that loving nature that we are, that unconditionally loving nature that we are, always will be, always were, but didn't realize. And we can bring that love to those energy, those people, those evil people, bad guys, devil, whatever, and say, you know what, I'm really sorry. I actually didn't see you properly. I actually was just coming from my own fear, my own ignorance. I was coming from my own place of suffering, my own victim mentality. I was just, helpless. I buried my head in the sand. I couldn't see anything properly. Of course you looked dark, and of course that darkness seemed to perpetuate and carry on, and now I don't want to stay in the dark anymore, and I don't want you to be dark anymore, so please forgive me, I love you. Just love it. Every single thing, every single being on this planet, every soul is lovable, and especially those that seem darker. Especially those that seem more troubled, more in pain, more hurt, more fucked up, more evil. That's where there's a severe lack of love, and love is needed to bring everything back into harmony, to bring everything back into balance. We can't just say, like, we're the light brigade and you guys are all sinners and you're going to hell. Okay, we've done that story on this earth so many times over, and it really isn't getting us anywhere. How can we transcend? How can we evolve if we're still running the same bullshit history pattern? It's like stop it. We all got to stop it, and we stop it here with ourselves first, by healing your own soul. Go into your darkness. Go into the part of you that you didn't want to put light on, that you didn't want to love. Love thine enemy, as we've been taught by the wise ones. I love the Khalil Gibran quote, and he said, "And God said, love thy enemy. And so I obeyed him, and I loved myself." I love that quote. So it's really important, I feel like, just to even start contemplating this. Even more important, if you're ready, if you're a true warrior of the heart, a true soul warrior, right, and you mean business, and you want to activate your purpose and your reason for being here right now on this planet, it is as an awakener. If you're alive, sitting here right now, and especially if you're watching this with me right now, you are an awakener. And it is your first duty to awaken yourself to your own darkness, to what you've hidden from your own eyes and projected on and kept it having a power over you, i.e. disempowering you. You make peace. You go and offer the olive branch. Make peace. I love you, me. And pour appreciation, pour love, pour forgiveness, pour acceptance, pour on acknowledgement. And you can command every little part of you to come back home to the truth that you are. Your innate truth. Not a concept truth, but an innate truth. Okay, the truth that is. That's not debatable. You can't argue with it. It just is. Okay? And as each one of us takes responsibility to do that, and to continue to do that with every little bit that shows up in the world as well, every little bit of news, every new video, every new thing that comes to light, if we can also then face that head on without hiding, take off our blindfolds and our blinkers and stop pretending it's not happening, because it's always been happening, and look at it and do the same thing, acknowledge it fully, feel it, ask forgiveness of our own ignorance, love it, choose to love it, come back to the truth, call it home, call back your devils and your demons, call back your child abusers and your molesters and your sacrificers and your whatever, the ones that are ripping off financially, or the ones that are, whatever. Whoever your enemy is, go face your enemy and love them. And as you do so, you will also be retrieving your own soul energy, because we don't realize that when we spend time hating or projecting, the venom or whatever onto somebody else, that's part of our soul loss. That's an energy leak of our own soul. And so when we make peace and stop keeping that as a them and a me, and the separation in place, and we bring it back home and love it and integrate it, then we've also integrated our own soul. Right? It's amazing. It's so simple. And as we integrate our own soul more and more, we realize that this me is in fact a we. And it's not coming from this nice, high and mighty spiritual place where we just know it on some nice etheric level, or know it on an intellectual level because we read the books, but we're actually walking the talk. We're actually going into where it's deep, dark and dirty, and retrieving our souls and retrieving our unity. We're retrieving peace. We're retrieving consciousness from where it's been hiding and where we haven't realized it. We're retrieving who we are as a humanity and bringing it all back into wholeness, bringing it all back together as one, as it always was, and it always will be, but just not in our own experience. Does that make sense? We're healing our minds. We're healing our voices. We're healing our communication. We're healing our hearts. We're healing our bodies when we do this. We're healing one another's hearts when we do this, and just look at the person you fought with and say, I'm really sorry, I really love you, and I need you back. I need you to come home to this truth of love that we are, each and every single one of us. I'm sorry I separated from you. Please forgive me, I separated myself from you, thinking that it was this and running a story. Can we just start making peace now? Can we have this beautiful wave of peace happening on this planet right now? Because I know that's why our souls, like I said in the beginning, when our souls feel tired, that's what we're tired of. We're tired of there not being peace. We're tired of there not being the love that we know we came to this planet to experience and to be. Right? Tired of the struggle, tired of the trauma. We're not tired of living. And we'll never, ever, ever get tired of loving. Ever. So let's all come home to that. Let's all come home to our own truth. You do your journey. Do it beautifully. Yes, you might not get it perfect. That there isn't a perfect. There's just you choosing and humbling and finding your way. And there's just you reaching out to others and sharing and connecting. And we all can share in this together. And that's why, coming back to the thing that I shared at the beginning, that's why I'm sharing the stuff that I've created. And let me tell you, I've only been able to create this method and come up with it and practice it and create this material that you can all go and use because of all the people that joined in to create it with me. Like, I would never have known about this if I hadn't, one, have been validated by somebody else that I was super psychic, two, that I'd had people that I could practice reading on and learn all this information. And it's like I've been given gift after gift after gift to understand the little part that I understand. And it's my genuine, it's an honor to give it back and say, guys, look what we've created. This was a joint effort, right? I know it's got my face on it and it's got my name on it or whatever. I made it. It's on my website. But let me just share something with you. Don't take it as, oh, I'm going to do Tara's thing. No, this is a thing for all humanity. I'm the messenger. Right now, just like I'm the messenger, I'm saying things out loud that I'm guessing that you feel could be your own words, or they echo your own feelings to, more or less, greater or lesser degrees. Okay? I'm just saying what comes through me to say and creating it and sharing it. And pick up the method, pick up this I Love You Me, 7 Steps to Transformational Self-Love is the name that I've given it. You make it yours. You don't need to, I'm not someone who needs people to follow me. I'm not someone who, needs to, have credit for it all. Just take it, use it, make it work for you, heal your soul, share it with others. All right? Because what I want to do on this planet more than anything else, and the reason I believe that I'm here at this time in this life again, is to continue midwifing peace into the world, is to help this new birthing of humanity, because these tools work. I guarantee it. There is not it just works. It's like love works for everything. Love heals everything. Okay, I didn't invent that. I'm just sharing the how to get there, how to get from the pain and the suffering to the love and the bliss and the peace and the completion, and heal the suffering and bring everything back into unity and harmony the way it should be. Okay, I have the tools. I want you to use them. Please use them. And yeah, don't get me wrong either. Maybe some of you are thinking, oh, you know, maybe I've transcended the need for having a roof over my head and paying my bills, and no, I'm in the same boat as all of you guys right now. I don't know where the next rent payment's going to come from. I never do. I've lived like this my whole life. Somehow it comes. Somehow it just comes. So I'm not in a place of wanting to bargain for this or sell. I'm just sharing, okay, from my heart to yours. I just want to be really clear about that. If anybody out there wants to gift me, I'm willing to receive. I'm so happy to receive and unconditionally give, and from your heart to my heart, and that we can share on that level. That's where I'm at. That's what I choose. That's what I want more of in the world, is just this heart to heart sharing, gifting, loving one another. So if that works for you, if that resonates, you want to do that as well, please go to my website taraloveperry.com and have a look and see what I've got going on there, and please share it with others. And if this video has resonated with you and you feel like it's helpful, and please share it with other people. Let's reach a lot of people. Let's bring more peace, love and healing onto this planet, and into each and every single soul, because that's where the peace is needed, into our souls. So that was deep, wasn't it? I love it though. This is where I'm at today. This is where I'm at actually a lot of the time. So thank you for listening. Thank you for giving your presence. Does anybody have any comments you want to share? I'm just going to read through some of your comments. Oh, Rachel Linton, you're talking about the Mayan calendar. Imagine if this happened in 2012 when the Mayan calendar changed over. I think it's all been a slow wave, Change doesn't happen overnight. Like spring, it creeps in. It's always there waiting, and then it creeps in, and then suddenly you go, wow, there's flowers everywhere and everything's green, and it seems like it happened overnight, but it didn't. And of course this has been on its way for a very long time. And those of us who are old souls, we know it's been for a long time, and it's like, yay, here comes the spring. It's almost like can't wait for it to come fast enough. But also what I want to share, I'll probably do another video about this, but the messages and the information, that the current update news of what's going on the other levels is like, the big message is sit back and enjoy the show as well. What's unfolding on this planet right now, it's actually going to work a lot better when we don't try and get involved and understand it all and pick it to pieces and analyze it. It's like, you don't need to analyze the rubbish. Just let it come out. Do what I'm suggesting, which is embracing, loving, encompassing, making peace with, but also let it change and move. And it can't change and move if we keep picking over all the bones of it all of the time, keeping it alive like that. We're continuing to empower something that we actually want to see changing, and it can't change whilst we're like picking over it and regurgitating the same thing again and again, right? So a big powerful message for everyone is to just stop analyzing everything, because you really get it like analyzing. Just stop it. We don't need it. That's not helping. What's helping is when we, like when a baby's coming through, we just let go, hands off midwifery, let the show happen. There is a lot of amazing things that excuse me, a lot of amazing things that are coming. It's an incredible show that's happening on this earth right now. It's what we've been waiting for, and it's got many years in it. Okay, there's time involved for some of us. Actually, I need to do another video about this, because there's another no time that's happening as well as time happening simultaneously. But anyway, I know, right? I'm not going to go there. I've just lost some of you. However, sit back and enjoy the show. Get your hands out of it. Just observe it, see it, love it, embrace it, make peace with it, and let go and stay in the now. Let it all keep happening, because the more that we kind of stop trying to get involved, the easier it's all going to come out and do its thing, if that makes sense. So let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can get our little sticky mingers out of the situation. Let me have a look. Oh, closing the gap between victim and what? Victim and perpetrator. Good guy, bad guy. It's the good guy, bad guy story, Rachel. It's like we can't have peace on earth if we still keep bad guys being bad guys and good guys being good guys, and it's us and them. We cannot actually have peace on earth while that's still happening. So it's time to end it. Wonderful. So guys, thank you for all your comments. I'm going to keep reading them and keep sharing. And Andra's saying she feels the love. That's really wonderful. So I love you all very much, my soul family, my soul brothers and sisters, and just keep choosing peace and love. And I see you next time. Thank you for watching. Mwah.